Hi again, let's try the final part of this paper, which is in section B. In this section, you'll be given 2 questions and you are required to answer only one question, but you are allowed to answer both questions as well. If you have extra time left, please read both questions before you make a decision. This time, I'm going to show you some suggestions on how to answer question number 3. Read the information given and please observe the diagram properly because we don't want to miss any important information. For me, to determine the variables is very crucial in order to answer this question. Make sure the variables that you choose can be measured by using measuring instruments. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. For example, here, from the diagram and the statement, it shows that the dented ping pong ball returned back to its original shape after being placed in boiling water. So we have cold water in diagram 3.1 and boiling water in diagram 3.2. And the shape of the ping pong ball changes as we place it into the cold water or in the boiling water. It is quite obvious here that temperature is a suitable manipulated variable to represent the cold water and the boiling water, while volume seems to be a suitable responding variable to represent the shape of the ping pong ball. So here we can measure temperature by using thermometer, and the volume of the gas we can measure by using capillary tube. We can use the meter ruler to measure the length of the capillary tube. Now, for the first 2 questions, you have to state one suitable inference and a hypothesis. You might have to memorize some of the keywords here. For example, the responding variable depends on the manipulated variable. And for the hypothesis, as the manipulated variable increases or decreases, the responding variable will increases or decreases. Before you make a sentence, take note that the responding variable is the result of what we do to the manipulated variable. Next, you are required to plan an experiment to investigate the hypothesis that you have stated. For the aim of the experiment, the keyword is to investigate the relationship between the responding variable and the manipulated variable. There are 3 types of variables: manipulated variable, responding variable, and constant variable. For the list of apparatus and materials, copy all the things that have been given in the question, including with other apparatus that you think which is suitable for this experiment. For the arrangement of the apparatus, you have to draw a diagram with label respectively to show the arrangement of the apparatus and materials. For procedures, make sure that you include one method, how you control the manipulated variable, and one method, how you measure the responding variable, and the last one is the repetition, how you repeat the experiment by using other values of the manipulated variable. Next, the way to tabulate the data. Basically, you have to construct a table and you write down the manipulated variable and responding variable. Make sure that you create 5 readings for the manipulated variable, minimum. And the last one is analyzing data. So you have to sketch a graph with manipulated variable representing the horizontal axis and the responding variable representing the vertical axis. Now, with the guide that I've stated before, let's fill in the blanks. The inference, volume of gas depends on the temperature. Hypothesis, as the temperature increases, the volume of gas increases. The aim of the experiment, to investigate the relationship between volume of gas and temperature. For manipulated variable, temperature. You can write down their symbol and their unit respectively. For example, temperature, theta, degrees Celsius. For responding variable, the length of capillary tube, L centimeter, or you can write down the volume of gas, V centimeter cube. And for a constant variable, you can write down the pressure of gas, or you can write down the mass of the gas. Because from the diagram given, it shows that we use the same ping pong ball. And I hope by now you already know that this experiment is about Charles' law. For the list of apparatus and materials, make sure that you don't miss any apparatus or materials which suitable for this experiment, because only 1 mark provided for this question. And for the diagram, make sure that you draw and label the diagram. For procedures, as usual, write down the apparatus is set up as shown in the diagram, the first one, and then the second one, how you control the manipulated variable. As you can see here, I mentioned 30 degrees Celsius is the first value of my manipulated variable. Next is how you measure the responding variable. Here I mentioned that I use meter ruler to measure the length of the air column of the capillary tube. And for the repetition, make sure that you state 4 more values of the manipulated variable, and the increment of each values must be constant. In the table of the tabulation of data, again we write down the temperature as the manipulated variable in the first column, and the length of capillary tube for the second column. This one you can write down volume of gas as well, and fill in all the values that you have created in the procedures. And finally, to analyze the data, write down the temperature for the horizontal axis and the length of the capillary tube for the vertical axis, or you can write down the volume of gas for the vertical axis. I hope it helps. Thank you for watching.